Good morning, everyone. Today I'm out here in the beautiful North Georgia mountains, and I'm going to be targeting some pretty unique snakes today. There's a few coastal plain species that I'm really after. The main one is the scarlet kingsnake, and for those of you that don't know, they are not the easiest snake to find up here in the mountains. As common as they are in the coastal plain, they're pretty hard in this region. But as you can see, there is a smoking log behind me here, and that is because I'm in a montane longleaf pine forest, and this area has been burned recently. I would say maybe just a couple of days ago. This looks pretty fresh, so that's actually a good thing. This is a really unique habitat up here, and there's a lot of things in this region that are kind of out of place up here in the mountains. So that's the main target today, but I will take anything I can get. So with that being said, I'm going to make my way through this really awesome habitat here, and we will see what we can find. So I have been hiking around some stump holes here in this burned area for about an hour now, and right here we have our first snake of the day, this nice adult corn snake here out on the crawl. It's hard to tell if this snake is going into shed or if it's just dark where it has been against all this burnt stuff here, because as you can see by my hands, it will darken things up a bit. But I imagine this corn snake came right out of this stump hole here, because there's really not any other cover in this area here. It's basically just stump holes and burnt logs. So not a bad first snake of the day. This is actually my first corn of the year. They're not too rare up here in the North Georgia mountains. In some areas they're actually really common, but this individual is actually still cold to the touch, surprisingly, because it is in the low 70s right now. This is actually a pretty attractive corn snake. If it hadn't been in all of this burnt stuff here, it would probably be a pretty bright orange individual. A lot of the corns up here are kind of a dark maroon or rusty brown coloration, but this actually looks like it would be one of the nicer ones. So not a bad way to start off the day. These guys are great climbers, really come out in the mornings, and once it warms up, you can cruise them late at night as well. Sometimes I'll get them 2, 3 a.m. in the hotter months, but this individual here looks like it's just coming out of its stump hole to warm up for the day. So I'm going to get some good photographs here in this habitat and keep on hiking, and we will see if we can find anything else. But good start to the day. So I just got done taking pictures of this nice corn snake here, and it looks like I was right about where it came from, because it is slowly heading right back to this stump hole here and appears as if it knows where it is going. Right here really puts that beautiful orange coloration into perspective. If it wasn't for all this recently burnt habitat here, I'm sure it would be much brighter, but that must be its little spot right there. So pretty interesting. For those of you that don't know, hiking stump holes like this in early spring is an incredibly productive way to find snakes, either out basking or starting to come out, because a lot of these stump holes just like this right here are great sites for snakes to go down and hang out while there's a fire sweeping through habitat like this, or to make it through the cold winters, whatever it may be. But anyway, I'm going to leave this corn snake right here in its burrow, and we'll see what else we can find. Good afternoon, everyone. It has been a little while since you guys last seen me with that corn snake, and I actually didn't find any other snakes that day. I think it was really just too dry to be flipping snakes and peeling them under bark. But we've had a lot of rain since then, and a pretty gnarly temperature drop, unfortunately, so it looks like we're going to be looking for salamanders today. But with that being said, I'm out here in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Escarpment here just below it in Eastern Georgia, and I'm going to be targeting a really unique species today, the patch-nosed salamander. They're from the genus Urspilurpses, which is a monotypic genus, meaning they are the only members of that genus, and they have a really tiny range here in Georgia, and as you can see, live near some beautiful habitat. So yeah, I'm going to drive on up here and get out and hike up some headwater streams, and we'll see if we can find one. So I have been out here hiking these headwater streams all day now, and I'm actually at the last spring head that I plan on hitting, so not looking good for patch-nosed salamanders. But under this rock that I just flipped here, we have a larval Carolina Spring Salamander, and this is a big one here. You can tell by that tan, almost pinkish body, the flat shovel-like head, and the size. Right here's my hand. You see this is a really big larvae. Actually, the gills look kind of reduced, so it could be close to morphing. Spring salamanders have the longest larval period in the world of lungless salamanders. It can be up to 3 years, I think, in the case of populations that live in caves, maybe even longer. So yeah, when you see a salamander larvae this big, usually it's going to be a spring salamander. Again, this is the Carolina Spring Salamander. We're in the foothills of the Blue Ridge here. So still below the Blue Ridge escarpment. So this subspecies is Gyronophilus phorphoriticus dunni. They're the ones that inhabit the Piedmont and some of the southern Blue Ridge. And as once you get further up into the Blue Ridge, you start seeing Blue Ridge spring salamanders, which is Gyronophilus phorphoriticus danielsi. But anyway, enough of the taxonomy. Really big, good-sized spring salamander larvae here. I'm going to put this guy back under the rock I found it under, and yeah, we're going to see if we can turn up a patch-nosed, but it's unlikely, and the temperatures are actually increasing now. The low last night was pretty rough, but I might actually try to get some basking snakes before I get out of here. But yeah, either way, we'll see what we can find. Good morning, everyone. It has been another day since you guys last seen me, and the good news is it has warmed up significantly. So today I'm going to be doing some hiking and tin flipping for snakes. It feels really nice out here, so hopefully we can see some snakes basking or get them under tin. So we'll see how this goes. Alright, first snake of the day is this nice, should be a gray rat snake over here. Unfortunately has some bad issues going on with its eye. Probably not too far out of brumation, so hopefully that will clear up. Let's take a look at the other side. Other side looks good. Good start to the day. Common snake, but good sized rat snake. Other than that eye, it doesn't look too bad. This is a sign that snakes are, in fact, under 10 today. So, yeah, really nice rat snake. I'm going to take some quick photos and keep on flipping this tin, and hopefully we will see some of our more rare targets today. Really nice gray rat snake. If you ignore that eye, it's actually in pretty good shape and has a nice pattern to it. Pretty healthy looking snake, so hopefully it gets that eye cleared up. But I'm just going to carefully move this guy back under his tin here and keep on flipping, and we'll see what else we can find. Unfortunately, I didn't get the live flip clip of this one, but under this rock here is a nice big red salamander. Really vibrant one too. It's good size, but the coloration hasn't really faded. This is on a ridge top here, so not really close to any water, but the red salamanders here seem to just wander, and I've actually flipped a lot of reds in the uplands here this year, so yeah, I think I'm going to take some time to photograph this one because this is a really gorgeous red here. Nice and plump, pretty long, and just a really bright red. Some of the individuals here kind of have some southern red salamander influence, since we are pretty far down into the Piedmont here. And they can look a little dull, but this one's beautiful. So I'm going to take some photos of this big red salamander here. I believe this is actually a big female. And yeah, we'll see what else we can find. Never get tired of seeing red salamanders. Nice big pseudotriton ruber. Right here is a closer look at this big gorgeous red salamander before I put its rock back here. I know we've been seeing a lot of these lately, pretty much in every video, and I haven't really been targeting them specifically, but this is just such a nice one here. Again, this is actually the first salamander I ever found. When I was around 5 years old, my dad flipped one, and that was what began my obsession with salamanders. So definitely one of my favorite species. I never get tired of seeing them. Obviously, I really love the mud salamanders too, but reds are up there with my favorites. So yeah, really beautiful individual. I'm just going to move it real quick, put the rock back, and we'll see if we can find some more snakes. Out of here. Good morning, everyone. Once again, it has been a little while since you guys last seen me, and unfortunately I did not find any of my main targets the other day. So today I have decided to switch it up a bit, and I'm heading up to the Cumberland Plateau region of extreme northwestern Georgia. I'm mainly going to be hiking for snakes, but I might get into some cool salamanders as well because there is some pretty nice ones up here. So yeah, this is a really unique area. There's some awesome stuff up here that you really won't see anywhere else in the state. So I'm excited to get out and hopefully we'll kill it. But yeah, I'm going to knock out the remainder of this drive and we'll see what we can find. All right, everyone. First find of the day is this nice little southern zigzag salamander here. You notice this individual has an orange stripe, so it is not a lead phase zigzag, which is the most common color morph that I see. Looks much like a redback salamander, but if you look closely, you will see that stripe is narrow and it's a little bit jagged, which is where the name zigzag comes from. That stripe typically goes in more of a zigzag pattern. This one is only doing it a little bit. But you also get lead-phased individuals, and they are basically the same coloration as the side of this one here. They'll be kind of gray with some speckles, but they'll actually be kind of a solid metallic color all over. So these are really cool little terrestrial salamanders. I'm actually not in a cave here, it looks like it, but I'm in a narrow walkway here between two sandstone rock formations. And as you can see, it's drippy, it's really wet, and some of these guys are just out on the crawl here. So it makes a really good habitat for them. Yeah, I'm hoping to see some green salamanders in here, so that's the main target, but a really beautiful little southern zigzag here. Always cool to see. Really, northwestern Georgia here where I'm at, it's the only place you can see these in the state. They do occur up into Tennessee, a little bit of Alabama, but that's really about it for the southern zigzags. So anyway, I'm just going to leave this little guy out on the crawl here, and we'll see what else we can find. Right here we have yet another southern zigzag salamander. Notice that jagged stripe there. It has a little bit more of a zigzag to it. That's where they get their name. This one actually has a little bit of a regenerated tail going on here, but you know, slightly out, still kind of in a crevice, but where it's dark in here, they feel pretty safe to just be out on these wet rock walls. So pretty cool to see. Normally you have to either flip them or shine them in crevices that they are typically pretty far back in. But anyway, I'm going to continue up through here. And oh, I got two right here. Right here's a really pretty one. This almost looks like a redback here. I can't tell. I just see the tail of it, but I'm not sure what all these guys are doing in here together. was kind of expecting to see a green back here because it's so moist and cool and kind of secluded from everything. And the next salamander of the day is one of the main species that I came up here to see. This is the green salamander. Now, green salamanders are from the genus Aeneates, so they are the climbing salamanders. And if you look closely, you will see that they have these long, sticky toes here, and those are excellent for climbing, much like how tree frogs have longer toes. Green salamanders use these to grip onto trees and rock walls, just like what we're hiking along right here. You notice that green pattern? That is great for blending in with lichen and moss and all this green stuff here on these sandstone rock walls. Now, green salamanders spend a large portion of their time in rock crevices in these walls here. Those crevices are typically either shaded by trees, or they can also be shaded by other rocks in some instances. But this is a big, nice one here, really about as big as they get. Appears to be a big male. As you can see, it's got some really big, meaty jaws on it. This species is primarily found in the Cumberland Mountains and on the Cumberland Plateau, although there are some disjunct populations in the Ridge and Valley Appalachians and even in the Blue Ridge Mountains. And they can go as far west into the lowlands of Mississippi and places like that, but populations are much more disjunct outside of the main Cumberland Mountains and Cumberland Plateau. But yeah, this is a really nice big green salamander here. Really doesn't get much better than this. This is a species that I had back home in Tennessee, and I actually grew up with them, but I haven't seen too many since moving to Georgia. Really, the northwestern corner here is about the best place to see them. But yeah, these salamanders are one of two currently described members of the genus Aeneates that live in the eastern United States, the other being the hickory nut gorge green salamander, which is much rarer and has a much smaller distribution. But these guys are pretty interesting. There's several different lineages of them that could potentially be split into species in the future, so I look forward to that. These here in the southern part of the Cumberland Plateau are actually the southern clade, so they could be split off. There's also a northern clade in the more northern part of the Cumberland Mountains and the Ridge and Valley of Tennessee, Virginia, Kentucky, and so on. And there's another one in the southern Blue Ridge Escarpment. So really cool salamanders. I'm just going to help this guy get on up back into his rock crevice here, and we'll see what else we can find. Good afternoon, everyone. It has been a couple of days since you last seen me, and other than that really nice green salamander, the Cumberland Plateau of Georgia didn't treat me very well the other day. So this evening I'm here in the Piedmont Mountains, quite a bit further south compared to where I was the other day, and I'm going to be doing some rock flipping here in this nice montane habitat. So I only have a few hours, but hopefully we'll be able to turn up some nice snakes. It's only going to be, I think, in the upper 60s this evening, so seems like really good weather to find snakes under cover. But anyway, I'm going to go to this habitat here and we'll see what we can turn up. And the first find of the day is this really good example of an eastern worm snake here. Nice big healthy looking individual. These are really common fossorial snakes, especially this time of the year. They like to get under rocks and leaf litter, things of that nature. As you can see, this one was found underneath this rock right here in this nice montane habitat here in the Piedmont. But yeah, again, these are really common this time of the year. Once we get on into May, they'll actually start tapering off, and other than night cruising, they're going to be harder to see. But yeah, always cool to see. Nice eastern worm snake. I'm going to keep on flipping, and we'll see what else we can find. How about that for the second snake of the day? This is a subadult Eastern Kingsnake here. Not super tiny. Don't go in your hole. Not super tiny, but not really that big either. But as you can see, it is fresh out of shed here. This time of the year, you flip a lot of these snakes under rocks, and they're deep in shed and have scale issues, but I just got really lucky. As you can see, right here's the fresh shed, and this king is absolutely beautiful. Really nice white bands on it here, and in this incredible montane habitat up here in the Georgia Piedmont. Really cool to see them up here. There's lots of lizards and smaller fossorial snakes for them to eat. So I imagine they do pretty well in these areas. But I'm going to put this little guy down here and we'll get a closer look. Right here's another look at this insanely beautiful Eastern Kingsnake here. This is one of the species I was really hoping to see this evening, so I am happy. I am going to try to find more if I can, but if not, I'm happy with this. What an awesome little snake. And again, so cool to find them in this habitat instead of in the lowlands. This isn't really a high elevation here, but it's pretty awesome habitat, you have to admit. What a perfect little snake. Again, I think these snakes should be doing pretty well up here because there's fence lizards everywhere, there's anoles, there's, you know, obviously that eastern worm snake, there's a lot of other reptiles up here for them to eat. Especially one this size could do pretty well just eating lizards, and obviously as it gets bigger it should have some other snakes to eat as well. It's really awesome to see. If I don't get anything else, my day is made. But I think I'm going to put this little guy back under its rock here, and we'll see what else we can find. All right, little buddy, right back under your rock you go. And right here we have a massive eastern rat snake here out on the crawl in this nice rocky habitat. Appears to be deep in shed, but man, is this thing long. Just check out that length. Really common snakes, but always cool to see exceptionally large individuals like this. They can actually get a little bit bigger, but just a super chill snake, just not minding me here, out crawling around, probably looking for a rock to get under here so he can finish shedding. He appears to have some stuck shed and is close to coming out of it, but isn't quite there yet. So yeah, snake number 3 for the day. So after finding that big rat snake the other day, I ended up running out of time and did not find anything else. But considering the amount of time I put in, that was a really productive evening of rock flipping. Really could not have asked for better than that Eastern Kingsnake. That was just incredible. But yeah, with that being said, I feel like it is a good stopping point to end this video here. I know I was kind of all over the place in this one, but I ended up finding some good stuff and it all came together. So yeah, like, comment, and subscribe if you want to, and stay tuned for more content because I have some surprises for you guys coming soon. So yeah, keep an eye out. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video.